Hey guys, Dustin Nguyen.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
I should add that to like my workout because I'm like every time I listen to that, I get so hyped. Ladies and gents, welcome to the 33rd episode of the Everything Batman podcast. I'm your host, Dunk. Today we have a panel of diverse gentlemen who traveled the country and went to a couple of cons this year. So I want to welcome Mike, the Stash Fam. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What up, baby? Chilling, man. Glad to be here.
Thanks for jumping on. As always. We got two familiar faces. We got Sammy Warm Hands. What up?
Howdy.
And then my bro from another, Nando Knight. How you doing, brother?
I am very well. Thank you, sir. I'm just humbled to be over here with these beautiful people on this side over here today.
We got the sponsor of my podcast on this podcast right here. It's great.
It's that weird loop now. It's like, uh-oh.
And this is how everyone just works together and figure things out. It's like it's the point of community.
True.
So it's been a hell of a year, man. I don't know. 2023. I think some records were broken with cons. There was a lot of collabing, a lot of great artists that showed up to certain locations and cons. Just a lot. We have a lot to talk about, especially since we're going to review the year. Let's just jump right in and let's just go. How many cons did you guys go through this year?
Ooh. I think I only went to 3, but I had mail-ins and, friends like you and Nando, grab little things for me as well. So I think physically I went to 3, but as far as things that I took advantage of, probably more like 6 or 7.
Man, I would say 9 or 10. I would say 9 for sure, but then like 10. Yeah,
I went to signings too, though, right?
I'm not even including the comic signings from in-store shops. I'm just talking about cons. I went to the first African American con in Los Angeles, so that was cool. It was a historic moment over there near the sport, near the Coliseum. So I was able to go there. San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon, the first ever short box con in Santa Clara. That was awesome.
That was great. Nando was there too.
I was there.
I don't know how we haven't met formally, Nando. This is wild.
It's all right. It's meant to be today. That's what it was meant to be. Is today.
TNK Comics, man. Check them out.
Yeah. I think I have including shows that I was at this year. I think I'm looking at 14. Shows that I was selling at and then attending. I think it was a total of 14 total shows. Dude. Yeah. I think the nuts moment for the year for me, I think, was short box because I did it in one day. I drove up, came home same day, and
wow.
It was a 2:00 in the morning wake up, drive out, get there, do the show. I hit a LCS on the way home,
it's that grind, baby.
Shout out to Bronze Age Batcave, and then drove home and was home at 10:00 at night and at work the next morning by 6 a.m. So
that's impressive. And
my wife was like, "Why?"
For context, tell people how many boxes are you packing up and displaying and then repacking and all that for a show like that?
Well, I went as an attendee, so I didn't have to box anything up for that one.
Okay, good. Okay.
For the most shows, for most shows now, T&K is taking on an average of 12 long boxes of dollar books, and then
awesome.
about 38 short boxes of main inventory, and then 2 8x8 walls of wall books and slabs.
Wow.
He was going in.
Short box was lit, man. I love that show. I can't wait to go next year. I mean, I went ham.
May 5th.
On,
they just
Jones,
announced
man.
it.
Kelly Jones,
announced it, right?
Yeah,
that's huge.
Kelly Jones was an amazing human being that day. I took him my first ever comic book that I bought and I had him actually sign it, and he was like, the fact that you brought this to me, it was a huge story and it was just great. So Kelly Jones was amazing to meet and actually
He
get
was
to talk to
doing
him
all these
personally.
little things
Oh, man.
for everybody all day long. He was just doing this. I don't even know what this is, but I love it.
I'd love to meet him, man. He's man.
I think that's one of the few shows where like I got a sketch and I wasn't there, and that's like a
Love
grail
those.
piece for me. I got that. I got a Kelly Jones Batman sketch. It's funny enough because my handle is Everything Batman, and I think that's my only Batman like blank sketch.
Really.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a couple Batman pieces, but as far as blank covers, which is mostly what I collect, I got my first Batman blank cover proper this year. It was Steve McNiven.
Yeah. There we go. Like, yeah, isn't that nuts? Because like I feel like for the most part, like Batman's what keeps me in comics.
Yeah.
And that was the first sketch, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, this is mad dope. This is like history for my collection, and I'm like, yo, this is the first one. What the hell have I been doing?
Like, period. Like, I'm still mind boggling. So,
Yeah.
Of all the sketches you have,
because I chase. Yo, I love my DC women.
Mm-hmm.
No lie. It's all I got is Harley Quinn.
It's
bunch
hard
of Harley
for me
Quinns,
to not
a bunch
get
of
more
Poison
Harley.
Ivies. Yeah, but like the thing is, I'm chasing a project, and my project is like Kelly Jones. You have to get a Batman, right?
Yeah.
Or a Bane, or Azrael. Actually, honestly,
Azrael too. Yeah, for sure.
So like, I got a Kelly Jones Batman. Got long ass ears. Like that's a grail piece. Put that aside. So I have more access now to a lot of great Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Batgirl, artists. So like that's what I want to get that. Like, people who worked on them, they're easier to come by. Well, they're not. I went to 11 Comic-Cons. It was easier because I went to 11 Comic-Cons.
I was gonna ask, like, what's your number? You're like living out of a suitcase, man.
Yo, it felt like it. I had the toughest in the 11. 4 of them, just 4 alone was was back to back weeks because I was like, but Mike and I we saw each other. We saw each other briefly at Torpedo, right? This year, was it?
Yeah. That's where we first formally met.
No, we met at wasn't Revolution, Comic Revolution.
You're right. I did meet you there. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep.
So it was so out of nowhere it's like, all right, I'm flying to LA, Torpedo Con, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty dope, cool, bet. Then it's like the next week, oh, San Diego Comic Con, no big deal. My liver, my lack of sleep, everything destroyed. My bank account destroyed.
Yeah, that was rough.
Although my reputation went up, everything else went down. Then it was like I get home, Terrific Con in Mohegan Sun was the following weekend. I still didn't have a voice, and then I stayed home, worked from home for that whole week, and then I went to Boston Fan Expo the following week. And I was like, yo, I ain't doing shit to New York Comic Con, and that's exactly what I did after that. I did nothing else to New York because I was exhausted. I'm like, I only did 11. Before it was just like a month.
Fuck you! I think I've only been to 11. Period or something.
Okay, so all right,
pretty
let's
close.
ask the question. Well, what's the record? I mean, if only 11. I mean, because this year for me was a record, so I'm nowhere nearly. I think I did 10.
I mean, Nando's got us all beat. I think 14.
I don't count though. Because
But if you're a vendor though, that doesn't count. If you're a vendor,
yeah, he's making money. We're over here dropping.
Yeah, I'm saying that as a consumer, as the schlubs.
I think last year did 12.
Yeah, as a fan, I think.
Yeah,
I think as an attendee, I think I did maybe. I mean, realistically, as an attendee for me this year, it was CalCon in February, WonderCon in March. I did Vegas Con in April, and then Amazing Con in April, and then San Diego, and then LA, like attending, like just to go, right? The rest of the shows, so that's like 5 or 6 real shows. And, short box, so like 7, and then after that, it was like the other 9 shows that I did were the ones where I was vending at. So it was like those were like grassroots shows where everybody's digging, everybody's looking for deals, everybody's hustling and grinding. So. Yeah, it's like half and half for me. So it was busy.
So you went to Amazing Vegas too?
I went to Amazing Con in Las Vegas as an attendee. Like I wasn't a vendor there.
I was there too. See,
yeah, I was there with the.
hey, shout out! That was a dope con, man.
It was.
That was
a
a dope con. Vegas was pimp, man. It was hot outside. Everything was air conditioned. You could rebag in the lobbies. It was chill, man.
I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I was selling books out of my backpack. Like I was getting deals. I was like, I had
constant grinding.
I had my shout out to my Hex bag. I had that on, and I'm up there, and I'm just like, people are like, "Oh, you have books?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want to see?" And I pull them out, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll buy that." And I'm like, "Cool." Go back into the show and be like, "Hey, let me get that book."
He was out here breaking even at the con. I'm over here like, damn, the negative is killing it.
Yeah, man.
Well, and I took half the year off because I couldn't afford. My cost of living went up dramatically first 6 months of this year, and so I didn't go to a single con until like July, I went to Washington Summer Con, which is about, 4 hours from me. And then ended up flying to Austin, Texas for Galaxy Con in September.
Those
that
are
was
great, man.
Labor Day weekend. And then, well, I was surprised because it's only about the size of Rose City Comic Con in Portland. Yeah. And it is not nearly as comic centric as Rose City Comic Con, because I went to that like 2 weeks later after I got home, and it was shocking to me how Artist Alley is a small loop at GalaxyCon Austin, and there were only I think maybe 3-4 booksellers, and by the time I spent all my money on sketches, so when I got home and went to Rose City a couple weeks later, I was like, oh my god, there's like countless comic book booths, and I'm digging. I'm like, why am I even digging? I don't have any money left. I just had to leave. But
sometimes you just find the extra money.
Well,
just figure it out.
Not if you've been finding the money like I have for years. That's why I started selling part of my collection on eBay this year was because I'm in a tight situation and I got to come up with new ways to keep the collection going. So the collection's got to start paying for itself a little bit.
What's we're all talking about these different cons. What's the furthest you guys traveled for a con?
So far, it was Texas because I'm in Oregon, and so going to Tech, I went to San Antonio in 2019 to meet Michael Keaton, and that was Alamo City, and then this one I went to Austin for Liber Mayo, and then he canceled. So I just went anyway. But my longest period is going to be February for MegaCon, my first time on the East Coast for a convention anyway. So
have you seen that lineup?
MegaCon. It's insane, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I keep on finding out who's going to be there before they announce it, and I'm like, Dave, shut up. But yeah, I'm like prepping. I'm like, let me just prep real quick. Mike, how about you? Like, you kind of moved, right? So
man. So I would say I went to Memphis Con this year, so that's the furthest east I've been at a con. Yeah. But coming from LA, I'm from the 818. Shout out to 818. I would say the furthest.
Time out. So did that mean did you do comics and cocktails then?
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
I was a vendor 2 times there.
Dude from Black.
Guys are like. They're legit like bumping elbows all this damn time and never say hello to each other.
Right. Right. No, my boy Julio, who runs We Can Be Heroes Comics, that's my guy, and he every time he does the show, he's like Brandon.
I know Julio and them.
I'm doing it. Yeah. I only missed the October show, but I did their first 2 shows, so they already told me, hey, I don't know if you know, but I already know when the next one is. So I'm like, it's coming up soon.
Nice.
I did the second one. So yeah, I did the second one. I'm homies with Julio and all them. Dude, I didn't even count that con, so I'm thinking like 11 now.
Just like
I didn't even count that one.
That's how quick you forget these things, because they just add up. If you start like once you pass like 6, it's like I don't even know how many I did this year. So that's.
But the furthest I would say for me though was the San Francisco Fan Expo last year, where we drove up. I was with Sean. We all drove up the little road trip.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. what's further, short box, Santa Clara or San Francisco. I don't know what's closer to me. I think San Francisco's further.
Frisco's
so
a
yeah,
little
San Francisco
further.
was probably the furthest.
Yeah. Nice. And Nando, how about you?
I was gonna say the same thing. I feel like weak sauce right now. I'm like the one who's like trying to do the most with it, and I haven't been out of state to do anything yet. So the furthest I've done is Santa Clara, and that's, like I said, that was a 1 day up and back turnaround, which I don't know why I did that, but whatever, I did it. So
no, you did it, and it's a good experience.
No, man, that's how I was with the cost of travel and everything this year. Like I went last year to the same con in the same area, and then this year the cost of like lodging and everything in that area was like triple. I'm like, fuck that. And so there's certain cons where I'm like, I'll drive up the night before, crash on a friend's couch, drive the rest of the way, go to the con, and then drive home. And I'm talking out of state because like I'm not going to spend most of my budget just getting there.
Yeah,
you know, like I want to get some sketches. So
yeah. A lot of my friends in the community, they're promoting me to do a couple of Northern California shows like Stockton Con and Lodi. They're saying that those are really good shows, but also I'm being pushed and prodded to see if I can go up and secure a spot for Emerald City. So
nice.
that would be a very, very, very taxing event for me if I did it, because that's a long way up to Seattle. But
when is Emerald City?
It's in March. They've been one of my favorite ones traditionally, and this year because I got MegaCon in February, and then right before that there's Fan Expo Portland, and so Tom Batforce Tom was encouraging me. He was like, "Dude, like we're able to get in to a lot of these on like press passes. You know, you do the podcast, you talk about going to shows, like." Just apply. And so I tried and I got approved for Fan Expo Portland, which is great. I'm excited for that. It's in like 3 weeks. And then I got denied for Emerald City. I was like, oh man, like I've been to that one a bunch, but I'm going to have to skip this year. Cause again, just the cost of travel is too much for, 300 miles away.
Next year, if you ask me this question, I hopefully can say New York, because the plan is hitting New York next year.
Me too, man.
This was going to be my year. I was going to finally go to New York and see Dunk and all the guys, and then shit happened in my personal life and money disappeared.
I gave away badges, dude. I gave 3 badges away. I couldn't go.
Man,
I couldn't get my money back. I was so upset.
Yeah, well, that's home court for me. That's like, that's like, I don't know. That's like the beginning of the playoffs for me. Like, all right, the season's over. There's the beginning of the playoffs. All right, got to get ready.
That's like the finals for you. I don't want to hear that. That's like
San Diego became the finals for me. It's a whole different season now.
It's not the in-season tournament.
You had the craziest time at San Diego, man. I was watching all your stories.
No comment.
Jesus Christ.
San Diego was dope.
Water.
That was my furthest one, I guess, right? Because coming from Albany, New York.
Yeah, man.
San Diego. That was a trip because like I mentioned before, I went over to Torpedo Con first, and then Monday morning we took the 2.5-hour drive to San Diego. Then we left the suitcase in LA.
You had to go back.
So we drove back LA 2.5 hours, and then drove back to San Diego. So I was pretty much in a minivan for 7.5 hours that Monday.
Yo, that
didn't you say
to me
you got
once.
in and out on the drive home though?
Yeah, hell yeah, you gotta go in and out. If you're in
Bro,
Cali,
I did the same thing, Dave. I left my San Diego badge at home. An hour and a half on the 5, and I had to turn around and go back. And oh man, it was horrible.
It wasn't my suitcase. I just wasn't letting the person drive alone for that many hours. I was like, I'll just roll with you, and I'm just there like, and I just happy-go-lucky me because it's Monday and I'm not working.
Yeah.
No one told you to be a good person, Dave. Nobody.
Yeah, I know. I just got my ass roped when I wasn't. So
it's true.
So what was everyone's like favorite con this year? For me, that's not even a hard question.
I gotta say, for me, it was I said Kelly Jones. That's how big a short box was for me.
Okay.
Because I went to all the big shows in Cali. But Kelly Jones was an experience, man. I got 77 books signed for the cost of admission, plus a couple little doodles on books, and that little sketch. All that was for the cost of admission.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was the best. So that was my favorite. And then I got a chance to see it was right across the street from Levi's Stadium where the 49ers play. So I was able to go across the street and like scope out the field. So I thought that was cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Nando, what was your favorite con this year?
I'll give you two because I'll give you one as a fan and one as a vendor. How about that?
Cool.
So I think my favorite one as a fan was San Diego, just because. Or actually, you know what? San Diego, LA is actually close, only because of not because of what was at LA this year, but because I built my reputation all year long, and as I'm walking by vendors, people were like pulling me aside, talking to me, shouting me out, like just conversations that I didn't get before. So that was a lot of fun. But San Diego for sure, just because getting the conversations and the connections that were made there, and the overall just experience of, especially with you being your first one and being there with you to kind of experience it and just doing everything. It was a lot of fun. It was a definitely movie. But I would say that. But I would think as a vendor, it was tough because I think my biggest show I did was Ontario. But the Comics and Cocktail show was a lot of fun to do. Especially because I got the big wall space. It was like a 30 by 20. So it was like, it was really fun to have that huge size and just kind of perform, have a show and do the work. So I would say it's between those two, but I think Ontario takes it, and that's not just because you were there, Dave, but I think it's because
Ontario was dope, man. I legit went out there just to help you out.
Dope.
Nando told me about it, and I was like, all right, I'll go.
It was really humbling for me because it was like I had just bought a huge collection. I was stressing myself out. I was like, I'm in the process of making this a full-time gig and a real deal for me. And this was like my come to Jesus moment, right? It was like, okay, if this is going to happen and this is going to work, this is my weekend to prove it to myself that this is going to work. And we crushed it. And it was amazing. And it was fun.
Yeah. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thanks. So it was. I think Ontario is going to be that's got to be my biggest one, because after that I just felt like there was a lot of momentum and a lot of fun that just came out of it.
Nice.
I love that show.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'll be there next year.
Sammy, what about you, brother? What was your favorite show this year?
I would say probably Austin, even though the reason that I went there was for Bermejo and he wasn't there. That was the first con in many years that I got to go with my wife, and we made a whole trip of it. And awesome. So it just was a totally different thing than I'm used to, because I always go alone. And I might bump into somebody I know, but usually it's just me out there. And I like those solo trips, and it's, you could plan everything exactly how you want to do it. And, it just works out. But this one was really cool. And, I got to meet Rafael Albuquerque and Miko Soyan. And I got another Mirka Andolfo sketch. And
her art is fucking beautiful.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just think that it was a different vibe. And I had met Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, at Washington SummerCon, and he was also at this one. So at the first con, I met him, got an autograph, and then at this one, he was doing a panel, and so got to just kind of hang out with the lady and watch him do his thing. And
that's cool. And
there's just the food around the convention center there is so good everywhere you turn. And so
Austin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Austin has so much good food, man.
I used to go out there and perform at South by Southwest, the label that I'm on. They had a showcase every year, and it had been a while, but I'd never got to bring her out to kind of have that experience. And so for a lot of reasons, it was just a cooler trip than, like I said, where it's okay, I'm going to haul ass into town. I'm going to be really slumming it. And I'm going to, I don't know. It felt more like a vacation than a grind this time.
I agree with you on that. I think I go I go to these traveling cons, right? I go to a con where I have to travel, and although I am working, because I do work for a vendor. Shout out to Capture Collectibles. It never feels that way. Yeah. It never feels that way. I'm at a con. I'm in my happy place. A lot of my friends tell me I'm in my element, and I'm just happy go lucky the entire time. We'll go out and drink the entire night. I'll wake up 2 hours later, take a shower, and I'm back at it like nothing happened. It's a different environment. Like I think like with local cons, like I go to a small con here in Albany. I'll just go and I come back and I'm like, meh. That's it. And then it's like, like no MegaCon. It's an experience when you travel, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, especially when you can experience with someone else. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to these cons is when you meet people that you've been following. It's like, yo.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this next one because not only they're going to be a bunch of people that I follow, but like you and I have never met after all these years and all these little favors we traded and all these podcasts we've done. Like, that's just bizarre to me. Like you said, oh yeah, and we'll finally meet. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Weird.
It's like we stayed in this COVID world where we still haven't met in person. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I'm too excited for that. Like I'm looking at Airbnbs and I'm gonna book one tonight. Mine's obviously San Diego. There's no if anyone saw, hey Harley, how's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, Harley. She's going night.
She's going night.
Not like sleeping with the fishes though, but whatever.
Jeez, that went dark.
Right? Wait, no, laughing fish though?
No, I was watching Kevin Hart, and when he says, "You ever go night?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, wait, chill. All right, I'm not gonna say that to a kid." Now, San Diego. Listen, you want to see what went down in San Diego? Go to my story. There's a highlight to say, SDCC 2023. You'll see a lot of familiar faces on there. That's all I got to say on that subject. That was the beginning of the documentary.
So mysterious.
Although all you have to do is look at my story. It's like, yo, what did Dave do?
This thing that I publicly shared everywhere, I'm not going to mention it, guys, because it's a secret.
I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to make you go to my page and look at it.
This year, San Diego was so much high. Like, man, I almost got kicked out the first day. The second day, my friend.
Rewind to the first day. Why did you? Almost
what happened the first day?
Okay, so every year it's a mystery how I acquire my badge. So I never get it a conventional way. Although I make attempts, and so I may get a day like Thursday, but I may not get Saturday. You guys know the deal with San Diego. So like, I'm always getting a hookup from the hookup, right? So I get there, and as soon as I get there, you gotta tap the badge. It went red, and I just kept going. And mind you, I have a 11-year-old son with me, and he's like my caddy. You know what I mean? And so like I'm like, just go, let's go, right? And so eventually, we go to lunch and come back. They were like, nope. Let me see your ID and blah, blah, blah. At the door, I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm not showing you nothing. So I ended up going to the badge place, and the guy ended up fixing it. But then I guess it was temporary because when I went out and came back in again and went red, and then they were like, nah, you got to do something. Luckily, the person that hooked me up with the badge was there, and she was able to fix all the stuff. But my idiot friend the next day, he ended up getting kicked out. All right, so he's a Thai dude, and he had a Max Gonzalez badge on, and so he was chilling, smoking a cigarette on the back, and so the security was like, "Yo, like, let me see your ID," and he was like, "Why?" And he was like, and then he ended up getting kicked out. So and he was a first timer, yeah. So, but otherwise,
rookie.
What was weird about San Diego Comic-Con? I don't know if you guys follow like the blog. And like they give you like the people who's going to be there, the booths, like so you can prep like in advance. But this year the intel was off. Like it was off by a lot. And so I was like at the wrong time. I was a day late, dollar short on a lot of things. And so like the first day I was so upset, right? And I was talking to my son and I was like, dude, I just want to go home, right? This first day. And then I looked up and I'm like, wait a minute. There's the Todd father right there. So I'm like digging through my stuff. I'm like, son, go get him, right? And he's being interviewed at the Image booth. So I'm like, here, give him this. And so Todd, my son, was able to get me a Todd McFarlane signature day when the day Romans got kicked out. And then I got Scott Williams with the little bat doodle. This was all the same day. And I got Jim Lee to sign it. So I was able to turn that lemon to lemonade. But it's crazy because it's like San Diego, that con is like a scoundrel con. You got to be able to, like, if you know what to do and you can fake it till you make it, you can make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I learned that a lot, but I'm used to it because in New York, that's what you got to do too. But San Diego is just a beast of his own. If anyone wants to go to San Diego, figure it out.
I tried, man. Tom had applied for, a couple friends when he put in for it, and he put in for me, and then it wouldn't let him because it was only for returning guests. And so I missed out on that. And then I got in, he showed me how to do it, and I got in for the day of. But then, like me, because every time there's like a sketch opportunity for anything, I fucking jump on it. And, I had just done that. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, I just bought this, like, Shane Glines, the artist from the Harley Quinn HBO show. Like, I just bought this original piece from him, and I forgot this Saturday is the thing for the, non-returning guests. And so I literally had everything set up to do it and was like, nope, no money in the account. Just got to skip it.
That's all right. Eventually we'll get you there, dude. We figure that
one day.
out.
Hey, man, I mean, between Duncan and I, we might be able to make that happen. So
I know, right?
Yeah,
Do I not
work
know
miracles,
enough
man? I don't know, ex Nando. I don't know what the hell I do, but it gets done.
all I know is, look,
Yeah.
There's reasons why you hang out at night at the bars with everybody. It's not to go drinking. It's to make all the connections.
Wait, what?
And
I thought it was for the drinking.
That's to make all the connections.
Oh man, that's what I was saying when I was watching those clips. I'm like, man, that is so cool. You guys are getting to hang out. I'm like, that is the last environment I want to be in, though. So I don't know if I'd be that guy.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Be very surprised.
You'd be surprised when the Black Ranger walks by, and then you just gotta do it.
Yeah, especially when he calls you a cock blocker.
Oh shit.
What was
it was about to be morphin time, all right.
Yeah. But from these cons, from your favorite cons, what was your favorite moment at that con and your dislike at that con? Because come on, it can't always be great.
Oh, can I start? I just want to say this, and this is just a rollover gripe. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, this is just a rollover gripe. Okay. There's certain booths, right? Facilitators, let's just call them. They run their stuff really well, like Felix Comics. They run their stuff well. Who runs James Tynan? I forgot that one. They
Scott
run
Collectibles.
Scott Collectibles. They run their stuff well. But Comic Sketch Art, man, they got to get it together. And they have a lot of A-list talent.
Yeah, they do.
But the thing that bothers me is, like, for example, I wasn't even at New York Comic Con, but I was getting a blow by blow on the Thursday Jorge Jimenez line, and I heard it was disastrous. And the main reason why, and this happens coast to coast everywhere they go, they need to differentiate between the people that are getting the sketch ops versus the people that are getting signatures. Yeah. And they need to have two different lines. And so what ends up happening is, obviously, the early bird gets the worm. The art guys are always going to be there before the signature guys, because they know how hard it is. And so, like, the first 2 or 3 people take up the whole duration of the signing
and
time.
Just waiting.
Yes, and it's like, okay, and so you got like 300 people in line waiting to see Jorge Jimenez.
Yeah,
and everyone is, I'm sorry, dude. Person number 10. I'm sorry, we got to cap the line at 10. Yeah, hey, after 2 hours later, come on, man. So yeah, I think that's my biggest gripe.
I think the person who has that set up the best right now is Adam Hughes, because you legit say, "Hey, listen, from 10 to 11, I'm signing. That's it. Yeah. From 12 to 1, I'm doing sketches. That's it."
Mirka does that too.
Yeah,
Mirka
that's the perfect thing to do. And then sometimes for the vendors that want to get 100 books signed, they're like, "Hey, you know what? Let's meet up at 6 o'clock or 7 p.m. We'll knock out all the signature stuff there." And it's like, that makes a world of a difference to stop that situation. I think with Jorge Jimenez, he hasn't been to a lot of cons, so people are just they weren't ready for that. And it's not nothing against Comic Sketch Art, but they have different individuals running certain tables. They all have to learn how to be on the same page, and especially like you said, it's preparation in advance. Jorge Jimenez is just another animal. But where were we? Favorite moments?
Wait, can I jump on that real quick, because people talk a lot of shit about CSA, and I understand the gripes, because when artists get reps, their prices go up, and it's this whole thing. It's affecting everybody. I totally get that, but I also just want to recognize that they have facilitated so many fucking things for me that it's insane. Like their mail-in stuff that Mike Haslam runs. I got a Silvestri sketch at Fan Expo Denver. I haven't been to Denver in years. I got fucking signatures from Jeff Loeb and Clay Mann and all these people at MegaCon this year. I wasn't at fucking MegaCon. They do all of these cool things, and they charge like a $5 upcharge per book or something like that for their facilitation. And so, I've had so many good experiences that the few that didn't work out, I kind of just accept
waved it off.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of really good ones. Like right now, to this morning, I woke up to a tracking number that says from Frank Miller, and that's because of Comic Sketch Art. It is on the way to me right now because of these guys. So I get the headaches that they're pricing people out of the game in a way, but I also recognize that it's sometimes hard to get a hold of art. I'm a musician and I'm a podcast host. I've had to reach out to a lot of musicians for collaborations or booking shows or whatever, right? And artists are really unreliable. You cannot always get an artist. So just the ability to have a place you can go to and be like, yo, interested in this, what's available, I'm grateful just for that. Whether it's Scott's or whether it's, Cadence or any of these people, I'm grateful.
They're great
for those companies.
Yeah, I think they work better virtually. I think what you were saying, Dave, is right on. It's just how you organize it. But virtually,
they got it locked down. They have that locked down, because it's worst case scenario with them. They work with these artists all the time, and they go to God knows how many cons with the same artist. Yeah. So when you have your mail-in thing, it's like, hey, you know what, this artist didn't get a chance to finish this sketch in Denver, but they're going to be in Chicago Fan Expo with us again next weekend. So they'll just knock it out then. So they definitely got that locked down. But
and same thing with shout out to Essential Sequential. I've had, the last experience I had with them, that didn't leave a great taste in my mouth. But I've had so many good in-person con experiences with them that I have nothing but praise for those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of great comic companies that with they provide that service, and it's a minor upcharge for them. They're still going to make their money because they make their money off the artists anyway.
Yeah,
who's not good though.
Fine, bring it negative again.
No, just say it. Just say it.
Yeah. Desert Wind.
Talk about your experience.
I never heard of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, good.
Who do they rep?
Well, it's not even about who they rep. They're like a CGC witnessing facilitator.
Oh,
and they lost my my George Perez Titans #2.
What?
Yeah, because I had that cracked. It was a 9.6 Perez Titans #2, right? I had it cracked, and I had it witnessed because we added Mark Wolfman to it. So it was the only one on the census that had a 9.6 Perez and Wolfman signature. 5 months later, I'm like, "Where's my book?"
Yeah,
and they're like,
"Wow, dude."
Yeah, it took forever. And I'm like, and they're like, "Well, we can't find it." And I just fired the person who was in charge of the book. So now I don't know where she did with the book, and we can't find the book. Can I send you something else instead? No.
How you know? What do you do in that situation? How do you make things whole?
You rehire the girl.
So I pressed on them every single day. I left messages and was messaging them everywhere. And then the owner finally got back to me, and she's like, "Look, I've been in the hospital. I'm sorry." But she was like, "I can get a Marv Wolfman signature book. I can do this for you. I can make you whole this way." And I said, "The only way you make me whole is by doing this." She's like, "Well, you technically," I said, "because with Wolfman and Perez, the book value jumps up." And she's like, well, the book was only worth this much with the one signature. And I said, no. I said, yeah, but that's not what I paid for. What I paid you for was the other signature. So you need to make me whole. And all of a sudden, right before I say, hey, this may go to court, small claims court. And all of a sudden it's like, we have your book and we'll send it to you. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then it's like, she was like, well, we'll waive your fees for CGC. We'll waive this, waive that. She didn't waive jack. I still got charged. I still had to pay, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay it because I want my book.
Yeah, just call it a day.
I'm going to call it a day because I'm going to get my book back. And that was it. So we'll say that was a not so pleasant experience. And I'm sorry. And I know there's been plenty of people who have had a good experience with them. But they will never have my business again for that. And that's okay. Because
something like that's so easy to fix, to be honest, because it's like, all right, we fucked up. We lost a 9.6. I'm like, can we find a 9.6? Sign.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can we find one? Look for it. All right. We can't find one. Find a 9.8. Make it better. Yeah. And then get it out of your way so then take 5 months later to dread this thing. But yeah, and that's just tough because that was probably just like one of the few moments they really effed up. But who knows?
Yeah, and it is what it is. But there was plenty of other amazing positive experiences this year with a lot of different companies and a lot of different things, and just meeting artists. And I can't even start to name everything. But that was the only real dark blemish that I had on anything this entire year.
Making it positive, I did win the Burbank Batman. That was probably my highlight. I got this year.
I'll get it next year. just putting it out there. I'm getting it next year.
Yes, let's go.
9.8.
Yeah, 9.8. Yes.
I will say I will do this though, only because we were talking about the short box event with Kelly Jones, and I was like, I know I had the book close by, and I was like, but this was the cover that I had Kelly Jones sign, and you could see he had it down there, and then he signed it down there. Nice. But then I had him do the Kings of Fear, the trait, and then he did the whole
I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So and it was no big deal to him, and it was just that, and I'm just sitting here like a little kid going thanks Kelly Jones.
Since you mentioned Kelly Jones,
that's why it's my favorite con.
Yeah, what was your favorite artist? Unless you guys said it already, because you already talked about Kelly Jones. Who was your favorite artist you met this year, and why?
I'm gonna grab it off the wall.
Grab the artist off the wall, dude. What? No.
I mean, I met this year.
Oh. Yeah, you met this year, and it could have, you probably would have met him before, but for whatever reason, this year was special that you saw him again, or you saw him for the first time.
Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny Frizen's nice. She's a sweetheart.
She was such a sweetheart.
Yeah. All right, what did you grab? So many books. What did you grab? What did you grab from the wall, bro?
Okay, I think out of the people that I met, I had a really great time meeting Steve McNiven at Washington SummerCon. He did this Battle Damaged Batman.
Awesome. So
I actually don't own any of his published work, but I follow him like so many artists that you follow him on Instagram and you see his convention work and there's so much cool Marvel shit, and I was like, man, would you do a Batman for me that's like that, beat up, bloody, battle damaged Wolverine that you've been doing at shows? And he's like, yeah, man. And his price was higher than I expected, and so he's like, you want me to do it with the color and the blood and everything? And I was like, I'm looking now at the chart. I can't afford that. I was like, so you know what? Can you just do black and white inks and maybe a splash of blood if you feel generous, And he look at this like it's color.
Yes,
he
sir.
Just did it.
That's nice, man.
He just did it because I was like, oh man, I came here with X amount for this, and I didn't realize it went up. And he was like, I got you. And
that's nice.
He had posted on Instagram that he was at a guitar shop in Seattle, like when he got close by for the trip. He landed and went and checked out some guitars, and he ended up picking something up. And me being a musician, like we just got to shoot the shit about guitar playing for a while. And I welcomed the chance to do that. I used to work on a guitar shop, always played in bands, and so it was cool not only just to have that cool interaction with the sketch, but also just to be able to chat about some other shit.
Nice. And Mike, for you was it Kelly Jones?
It's Kelly, man. It's just hands down, man. 77 comics. I mean, it's always Jeff Johns too, but Kelly Jones, the fact that because whenever he would be at a show, I would never be prepared. And then so at the Short Box Con, I was able to just load up and get all those cheap 90s Batman and text like loaded up and locked and loaded, and I just went ham on them. So yeah, definitely Kelly.
Nando, did you figure it out?
I mean, Jenny did a lot of work for like signatures for me this year, and she was such an amazing soul that just was like so kind. Because like at one point in time when she was signing at the DC booth in San Diego, like there was nobody in line, and I'm like, why is there nobody here? And it was like I got her at the right time, and I had a stack of like
at the DC booth.
Yeah, at the DC booth, and I was like, and I had like, they were saying, oh, you can only do like 5 books at a time. And I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden I still had the stack because I had people with me and I saw the stack and I looked around and there was nobody in line. And I asked the handler and Jenny said, look, I will go back in line and repeat myself if I have to, or can I just give you the books here? And then Jenny was like, I don't care. She goes, I'm here for an hour. Give me as many books as you want. And I was like, nice. Thank you. I was like, can I get you coffee? And she was like, no, it's fine. Just let me sign your books. And I was like,
I try to offer anything. I was, you want water, food, whatever you want. We're sitting down. She's like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. She's a sweetheart, man.
It's too bad that she doesn't sketch at cons, because I talked to a friend of mine that works for Cadence, and I was like, yo, can you get me? And she's like, no, she doesn't even do it. So
no.
I will say this. There was one book I wanted that, and Dave knows this, and Sammy, I think you know this too. Like, I'm pretty good about getting books that I want. Like, if I hunt them down pretty good, and I can get my hands on pretty much the book I want.
Yeah.
The one book that evaded me this entire year that I couldn't get my hands on, I wanted the 1 in 100 Death prison cover, and I wanted her to sign it, and I couldn't get my hands on it. So it's kind of like my personal mission now is to find that book, not at resale value, but find that book at a decent price and get to her again and have that one signed. That's my 2024 goal.
I'm pretty good about prepping for cons, and like if I'm watching the guest list and I'm checking for updates and all that, then it's like, okay, cool. I need to find this variant on eBay. I needed whatever, And man, the one that I missed this year was Carla Cohen, because her originals are just out of my price range. Like, she's amazing, those oil paintings she does, but it's just beyond what I could afford. And so I was like, well, I'm at least going to get that Harley Quinn, like one of my favorite variants. And I just wasn't able to come across it in time for the show in Austin, but another time.
Yeah. I think, let me see, who was it for me? I met Jim Lee for the first time. Like, I'd never met Jim Lee.
Really?
Yeah. So I met him for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, at Torpedo. And then my buddy Will, who used to work out here on everything. All this time, I never met Jim Lee. And I was like, I was working for Capture Collectibles, and we're just there, facilitating, just watching Jim Lee going in. He was just signing books like it was crazy. And my buddy Will works for Torpedo, and I was like, "Yeah, any chance I get a picture with Jim?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I go over, and I was like, "John's like, this picture's going to be funny," and I was like, "You got to jump in it too." And then I got the infamous picture that he reposted of both of them jumping.
Oh, right.
My height. Yeah. So that was the first time I met Jim, and I was like, awesome. And then I saw him again in San Diego. I was standing on the image line for Todd, and Jim was like, "Hey," like pointing up from my height, and I was like, "Oh, that's dope." Like, he still remembers me. All that was just last weekend. So that, for me, that was my favorite, and I got a couple of things signed by him.
Well, yeah, and you got, I met him a couple times before, but I didn't have this book at that time, and you got Jim, Scott, and Alex for me, so that I could get Jeff when I finally met him at Rose City. That was really cool.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you get from Jim, Dave? What did you get signed at Torpedo?
Batman 50, the 1 in 100, thanks to Nando. Did I get? Oh,
is that the rain? Is that the
Yeah.
Which cover? The rainy one?
Sketch
Yeah.
cover.
Okay.
But it was the blue and white sketch cover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then there's what did I get? I get a First Hush.
608. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had one more book, man. What the hell was it? Oh no, then it's got your book, Sammy. I only had 3 books on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this one signed, and then he did that little bat logo on. This is that torpedo.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
There, this little bat logo.
Little
My son
remark.
hassled him, but yeah, I was like, I normally don't pay for Jim Lee Sig.
Wait,
but I
yeah,
was like,
you showed me that.
Yeah.
The torpedo. Oh snap.
Yeah,
Okay,
this was torpedo. Yeah, like
Nice.
I normally don't pay for Jim Lee Sigs. I usually San Diego Comic-Con.
Catch them walking.
If that's where you get your free gems from. You know what I mean? So there, I don't know how it rolls in New York, but San Diego Comic-Con, I know I'll get at least 4 free Jim Lees if you play your cards right.
Nice.
See, so for me, what I do for Jim, because I'll get maybe like 5 or 6 gyms at San Diego, but I'll pay for them because I buy the Hex backpacks, and that gets you the 2 or 3 signatures for free. But then as a write-off for me, I raffle off the backpacks as a prize. So it's like I'm getting a raffle prize for future shows, but I'm also then banking the signatures
That's awesome.
for inventory books. So it's like one of those things where it's like, and I don't mind paying because you're paying $100 for the backpack, but you're getting like 3 to 4 signatures a piece.
Yeah,
so
money.
Jim Lee signature is like
Winning.
$80 pop as it is. So you're already like, no, that's it, man.
I need to buy a backpack next year because mine's going the distance.
Chestnut checkers, Nando, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's my Jim Lee signature right there too. So I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, that hex
Best
bag is
backpack in the
great,
world, by the
man.
way.
It's
Best bag in the
seriously,
world.
it changed my whole con experience because it's like, okay, I got this slot, I got all my books for this person, I got all my books for that person, I got all my blanks in that big gap in the middle, and like you could just lay out your whole
water bottle. Wham,
two of them. I got one on each side.
Gotta hydrate,
but like
man.
you could fucking lay out your whole day, in order, and it just makes it so efficient.
Yeah.
What was
I will say the one thing you guys are talking about, like sketch covers and stuff like that, and I'm like, there's a couple that I got done this year, but Dave and I we spend a lot of time on the phone because I drive a lot, and what I'm doing is I'm setting up a sketch wall for when I open my shop.
Nice.
That it's combining the 2 things that I grew up loving the most, which was obviously comic books and wrestling. So when I did this, my most recent one that I had brought in was by Marat Michaels, who's a huge wrestling head, and I told him about the ideas. I said I wanted to do sketch covers of wrestlers versus heroes, and and like try to match them up to do something really good. So the most recent one that we had done is, I'll pull this one out, and I got this picked up from him when we were at, I think, Vegas, but he did a Shawn Michaels versus Deadpool. So
that's great.
And then there's that. So there's like right now I think I have 3, 5, 7,
show that
9,
one again.
11.
Nando, show it again.
Yeah.
Kicking his head clean off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was the most recent one that got picked up from him.
My heart is fine, but my head definitely feels broken. I love it.
Yeah. So that was a cool one that he did, and he's a huge Shawn Michaels guy. So it was like I was like, you can pick, and he was like, I'll do the Shawn Michaels. But here, since I have it right here, I'll show you the one that started it all. Only because we all know Mr. Clay. And of course, we all know that it's gonna be a Batman one that starts it. But this is the one that started the whole idea, and
that's amazing.
Oh right, yeah,
that's thickness.
Yeah, that's the Undertaker versus Batman, and all my friends who know me, they're all like mad at me. They're like, how could you put Batman being afraid of somebody? And I'm like, because Batman strikes the fear in the heart of everybody. I need something to kind of balance it out. And I was like, if there's gonna be anybody that's gonna put a shock into Batman, I was like, it's gonna be the Undertaker. And but it's pretty cool. Like I've got a lot. Like we got Joker versus Doink the Clown, Erica Slaughter versus Sergeant Slaughter, which that one's actually signed by Sergeant Slaughter.
Nice.
Paul Bearer versus Alfred.
That's dope.
Two-Face,
that's dope.
Two-Face.
I love that idea.
Two-Face versus Mick Foley, but all 3 versions of Mick Foley. in the same wrap up. Kane versus Ghost Rider, Andre the Giant versus Swamp Thing, Rey Mysterio versus Spider-Man 2099, and Macho Man versus Randy Savage. So we've got some big moves coming with some still, and there's some big artists out there that are doing some stuff for me too. So the idea is that once the shop opens, these will all hang on the wall with the contact on how to get in touch with these artists, because without the artists, these books don't come to life. And my idea is that I want to be able to promote the artists and continue their successes if it's not just them writing or drawing in books, but them getting sketch work done, them getting other things done later in the future by other people, because it's a giant community that supports each other one way or another. So this is my one way of trying to build that and kind of hype it up a little bit.
That's cool to have a theme too,
Yeah.
There's a lot of thinking behind that.
There's a 37 match list, just so you know.
Oh snap! So it's a premeditated list. You checking?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then you got to pick. We're picking and choosing what artists would do what match, because you can't just give anything to anybody. You got to make them be excited.
I still have a list of characters that I haven't got sketches of, because we were talking about, I always wind up getting another Harley Quinn or another Catwoman or something, I got too many multiples, because it's well, now I got Miko's Joker and I got Marini's Joker and I got I got all the different flavors, but there's still all these other favorite characters that I don't have at all. So I have a list of which artist would be cool for this person, and I'm trying to do it that way. I'm waiting on commission from Steven Segovia for Two-Face, because he did that awesome Deface the Face detective cover, and I got Clay Mann. I commissioned a Phantasm.
Oh, nice.
I've been waiting on that. Certain people that would just knock it out of the park to get your first one of that one character.
Nice.
I've been trying to do the same thing and just kind of playing the long game to get the good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now. There's a lot of characters I want, so I'm let me just finish everything by segments.
Yeah,
and then start working on the next segment of things, and I'll be done with the first part of my sketch collection this year, hopefully. Knock on wood. There's good and there's good and great. There's good and bad moments at every con, right? What are both throughout the year? Your best moment, and then your least at a con.
I think aside from, I mentioned the cancellation that definitely affected my trip to Austin. Aside from that, I remember going to meet Jeff Loeb for the first time. I was very excited. I had picked out a bunch of shit. I had 10 different books, a couple posters, I was all ready to go, and I didn't realize that his prices had gone up a bit. And, nothing exorbitant, but again, I was just coming off of that other trip to Austin.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Portland, and I'm oh shit. I'm cash poor. I had brought enough, I thought, to get these done. And, that was the main reason for me going, was to meet Jeff. And when I was in line, they're ringing people up before they get there to be really quick and efficient and essential sequential, they're great. And she's okay, it's this much for signature. And, I was oh, fuck. I think I literally said, oh, fuck, right? Right to her face. It was I'm going to have to put back half of these. And so that was just, probably on me for poor planning, that I try to research everything as much as I can, but I guess I didn't think signature prices were something I needed to even worry about.
Yeah.
But, Jeff's a legend. And so his prices are going to go up. So yeah, I missed out. I still have When in Rome #1. And I there's a handful of things that I just had to put back in the bag, some Supergirl, Mike Turner stuff that I really wanted to get done. And in the end, I took the one that I showed earlier, I took those type of ones where okay, this already has a Tim Sale autograph. Okay, this one already has a Jim Lee autograph, so I'm kind of
strategizing.
I'm completing existing, ones that just now they're quadruple signed or whatever. Now they're double signed, So I got those ones done, and any of the I don't know what you would call them, any of the unsigned books, they just had to go back in the bag for another time. That still bumps me out to think about. But
quality over quantity.
Yeah, always. That happened to me last year at Fan Expo with Jeff Loeb too. When I found out he was $20, I put a lot of stuff back. I have every issue of Long Halloween signed by Tim Sale. I only brought the first one. I brought. I have every issue. Okay, here's one because I don't know who has this. I have every issue of Hush, right? All 12 issues of Hush, signed by all 5 members of the creative team. It took me about 8 years.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. So I have Jeff Loeb, Richard Starkings, everybody. Yep.
Wow.
Richard Starkings. But the worst and best moment of the year happened in the same con, and it was Short Box. I got stranded. Me and Sean got stranded.
I heard about that.
Santa Clara. I had no ride.
That was you with him.
Yes.
Wait. Hold on. Wait.
Yes.
Dave. He's the one that I was gonna almost take back home.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Yeah. We almost met.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm like, I remember this story,
bro.
I'm like, it was Nando who was ready to help you guys out.
So peep this. So I get
all
stranded,
those missed
right?
opportunities, and this is how you guys meet.
Yeah, but it was meant to be here, man. Dave is bringing the world together. I love it.
Hey man. Oh my god.
So I end up getting a ride. So I almost get stranded. I'm talking about like the night before Short Box, we didn't have a ride, and so me and my friend was like, you know what? Let's make the best out of this con, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna think about how I'm gonna get home. I'm just gonna just enjoy this con. And so I went ham on Kelly Jones, right? So now I end up finding the ride. So before the con starts, so at 7:30 in the morning, I end up getting a ride from some guys from Orange County. So they had to pass me up anyway. So it worked out.
Perfect.
So on the way home, I'm talking to this dude. His name is John. Big up to John. He's like, to me, he's like the head nerd of SoCal, man. Like this dude, he's been doing it longer than everybody. He has sketches from everybody. You name it, he got it. He's older than everybody. And he has SIGs and collectibles from sports and comics in the whole 9, right? So this is who I'm getting a ride with, and I'm just getting blown away by his education and testing his collection, right? So anyway, he's talking about Muhammad Ali, right? And that he has 4 Muhammad Ali signatures, okay? Right? And I'm like, what? And 2 of them are on Superman versus Muhammad Ali. So he has triple signed Superman versus Muhammad Ali, Denny, Neil, and Muhammad Ali. Now, who has that, right? So this is what I'm saying. I'm getting my ride home back from this. I'm calling him like sensei, right? So he goes, you know what? I'm like, dude, and I had a Muhammad Ali shirt on. That's how it came up.
Okay.
He goes, you know what? I'm gonna give you one. And he told me the story how Muhammad Ali would sign these pamphlets to kind of convert people to Islam, right? And so he met Muhammad Ali at the Great Western Forum after Laker games. And so he got one of these. He's like, yeah, I got 3 of them. I'll give you one. I'll meet you at Comic-Con, right? So I see him at Torpedo Con. That was the next time I see him. He gives me a ride. I didn't know he was going to be at Torpedo Con. I'm not sweating this dude asking him for a Muhammad Ali autograph. Yeah. Come on, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, Mike, if I would have known you were here, I would have brought the Muhammad Ali stick. I'm like, what? He's like, are you going to Comic-Con? I go, yes. So on my way, I'm looking for David Finch at San Diego Comic-Con, and I passed by Adam Hughes' booth, and he was in line at Adam Hughes' booth. He goes, Mike, wait. And he gives it to me. Hold on. I'm about to get it now.
Oh, man.
That's a moment.
That is a
what
moment.
A guy, man.
Wow. I can't believe. I mean, good thing he got the ride from him instead, because then he would have missed out on the Ali signature.
Yeah. It's just crazy, like how tight the community could be, and like things that happen, right? Like that's crazy.
Here it is.
Damn.
The Muhammad Ali sig.
There's a pamphlet.
Is Jesus God? Hold on, where it goes? There it is.
There we go. Hold on.
There it is, right there. And you can find these.
Hold on. Show it again. Show it again.
Yeah. Yep. I'm bringing it again. Boom. Muhammad Ali. I got this at San Diego Comic-Con.
That's crazy, dude.
And so, yeah. And so the worst experience. Oh, it was. And the person that I'm going to bring it back up since I'm still up. Boom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
Muhammad.
I'm just stuck. Like, yo,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the Six Slayers number one Sig this year was Muhammad Ali, and who can top that?
Damn.
And I got it being stranded by my friend, someone who was my stash bro. So we were doing podcasts and stuff like this together. And so we broke up at Shortbox Con.
Yeah.
And he left me and the friend stranded. And lo and behold, I ended up getting home taken care of, got brought back to my car in Burbank. And a couple months later, end up getting a free Muhammad
That's
Ali
crazy.
Sig, dude. Insane.
Yeah, sometimes you put yourself in a situation and you gain something from it, and you have no idea, and you had no idea it's coming. That's a beautiful thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nando, your best and
Well, my worst was that one, but that basically started my year because that was in like February or like late January, early February when that.
Oh yeah, that was
but,
the CGC book. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can give you like a funny bad one. I got a book triple sig. It was the One Bad Day Riddler book. I had.
Oh yeah.
We had it triple sig, and the last one to add to it was Jim Lee, and the guys asked me. They said, "Hey, if you're going to see Jim, ask Jim a question." And I go, "Okay, I'll ask Jim a question." They go, "Why do we have a blonde Bruce Wayne on the cover, and who are these Riddler druids behind Riddler when he's never in the book?" And I'm like, "You're going to really have me go ask Jim Lee why he drew stuff on a book that didn't exist?" And they were like, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it, or we'll know. And I'm like, okay, you're not going to really know, but I'm a man of my word. So I asked Jim Lee. I said, so, why? Why do we have this blonde Bruce Wayne? And who are these druids in the back that we never see in the book? And Jim just puts his head down. And John Dolmayan's behind him. And he's just like, Jim goes, I got the paperwork before I got the story. So this is what I drew because I thought this would be something good. And if there's going to be something in a question that the Riddler's going to ask, which would be who's going to be Bruce or Batman, he would have these people behind him that would like follow him and be dedicated to the craft of finding out who Batman is. And I was like, that's a really quick answer. And he was like, yeah, I kind of had to think of something right now for you. And I was like, works for me, Jim. Works for me.
He's like, I just drew it and it was great.
Yeah,
Great.
I was like, I think that's my like silly moment because my buddy behind me goes, Jim Lee's never going to sign another book for you ever again. And I'm like, probably not. Man, I think my best moment, it wasn't even buying anything. You know what? No, it was getting my very first original art page this year. Dustin Nguyen.
Really?
I got one of his original art pages. Dustin, and I got it from him, and it was, he signed it and gave it to me, and it was, after we talked and stuff like that, and it was just it hangs in my office. And the deal was, I can never sell it, and if I ever am dead poor and have no money in my pocket, I have to sell it back to him. That's the deal. So
is it a tech cover? Which room was it from?
No, it's an interior page from.
And that's what I mean. A tech page.
It's an interior page, but it's a Batcave page. It's the whole T-Rex.
Nice.
And stuff in there. Yeah. So it's
from what title?
It was Detective Dinos.
Okay. Because he was on Detective Comics with Paul Dini for a minute.
It's been like the 800s or something, right?
Yeah. It's wait a minute. Detective Comics 850, I think.
There you go. That's the best time, dude.
It's on the wall. It's on the wall somewhere.
Isn't that first Gotham Sirens or something?
There you go. Look. Oh, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. If I can.
Oh, I gotta open this up so we can look real quick. Hold on, keep it right there.
Oh, you got a splash.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Shit.
Damn. There we go.
There we go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool,
dude.
You got a splash page, bro.
Yeah, that was my very first page I ever got, and so shout out Dustin Nguyen because it hangs dead center in my office at home now when I come into work. So when I come to work every day, that's the very dead center piece that I get to look at in my office.
You guys got pages too? Like how many? Like you guys are deep in art like that too with OA?
Nah, not yet. I just got one prelim here. It's Batman presents the White Knight. Yeah, Batman presents the White Knight. I think it's like the second variant cover for issue 7. So I saw that at WickedCon and I was like,
I was jealous of that. That was the first book of his that I had signed, actually.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever I'm like, yo, dude, you're the first one I'm going after. Like, here, take it. Yeah, that's the only page I got. I want to go for a second page next year. We'll see.
It's tough because once you start going down that avenue, you're like putting yourself in a position where you're like, yeah, I can only go this direction.
So
to really do stuff. So
I removed 2 prints from the behind my wall. I'm gonna start getting rid of my prints.
Pretty much all of mine are gone at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. Screw it.
There's like I went through this major transformation in the room here, and it's kind of taken apart right now for the purposes of this podcast. But like, I mean, just like a glimpse of the with missing spots on it and stuff. But like, this is my art wall right now, and it took me a long time to put that together because everything is all different sizes, right? And artists are sketching on different formats, and so like at one point this year I had a stack of frames that were new pieces that had no place on the wall. It was like $3,000 worth of shit in a pile. I'm like, these are grails, man. These are like my favorite shit, and there's not a single place for them on the wall. And so like I consolidated everything, and the things that weren't on sketch covers that were in some weird size that wasn't like a regular 9x12 or something, I just made a photocopy of it onto a blank, and now it's a fucking sketch cover. And so now my whole wall is the same size and all that shit. So when you start talking about, oh yeah, you guys got any pages? Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm streamlining. I'm focusing because what I don't want, and like part of the reason I've been selling off some of my collection is like I have how many signatures from the same dude, and I can only display a couple of them at a time. So it's like I'm gonna just keep my favorites, and I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of these duplicates because like I don't want to just hoard the shit. I want to have a nice display of all the stuff I can appreciate. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna go that route just because look, lately I've been all about streamlining it, making a nice uniform display. Everything's the same kind of size and dimension on the wall.
I have a question. Can I actually ask this question? Because it's like do you guys have like a centralized theme that your whole collecting practice is based on? Like where you have like things like things that you specifically search about, or is it just a free for all? Like with signatures or with art, you can go down a rabbit's hole on either. But do you have like boundaries? Do you set boundaries?
Yes, and that. To me, that's the key. Like right now, this has kind of become my new boundary. Like, okay, if you can get a sketch from somebody, it's got to be on a blank so it can fit on the wall. Yeah. Otherwise, you should probably pass because
then you just create another piece you're going to put away.
But traditionally, my rule has been only DC, because as much as I would love to have Ninja Turtles, I'd love to have X-Men, I'd love to have other cool shit, like I can't have everything. There's no room. And so only DC.
And that bank account too, bro.
And the next rule is the most important one. And that is don't start new collections. Finish the existing ones. So like I've had random ass statues and figures and shit that don't go with anything. And those have all, for the most part, gone away, or they're currently listed on my eBay store. Like I collect sketch covers and I collect 1/6 scale figures, and like that's it at this point. Like I completed my Batmobiles, I completed my animated series busts, like those I finished so I could stop,
so you could move on to the next one.
Exactly, because like I can't just have a bunch of odds and ends. It looks like shit, like I mean you could see over here, like I got my nice Detolf displays, and then I got the pile of figures that don't go anywhere that are listed on eBay. So I'm trying to get rid of these piles of stuff that don't go anywhere, so I can focus on having a nice display. That's become the most important thing.
Yeah, I have I definitely have rules. Like I don't buy every Batman fig. It's the ones I like. I'm done with Funko. I'm done with Funko.
I'm done with McFarlane,
Sam, I'm done with that too. Unless Funko does another animated series, if I could complete my series, I need to complete that always. And if there's another Alfred figure, that's it. Those are my rules for that. But then, like with sketches and stuff, I now have a theme right now. I need to get 10 Harleys. I want to get 10 Catwomen. I want to get 10 Batgirl and 10 Poison Ivies. And that's what I'm focused on. I want Zatannas. Wait, bro. No Zatannas. Not yet. I want I got one Batman, I said earlier. I want more Batman. But I'm like, nah, chill. I need to get these women.
Man, to have a controlled goal and all right, cool, I got that out of the way. Now what's my next plan? Because you can't just acquire all the shit you want. Dude, MegaCon.
It gets messy.
Right? We're talking MegaCon. They're announcing guests. I see Ewan McGregor. Oh man, I would love to get an autograph from him. And then I'm looking at that against the list of comic artists that I've written down, and I'm already going, how am I going to afford all these artists? I'm like, okay, I'm not doing the celebrity shit at MegaCon. Fuck it. I don't care who they bring. I'm not doing it because I'm there for the comic art. So, you kind of just got to prioritize the shit.
Yeah. Then with signatures, you got to play that game. How much do I get free, right? Or can hey, how much have you got on you? You think you can get these two real quick, right? So with that, you have to play that game because signatures get expensive real quick.
Hell yeah.
But the only books I follow for that are any of my Batman grails. I just want to get those signed and slab. Then it's great. I have that. I have it put away for a rainy day, or I could display it once I get all my stuff figured out. And the only thing I buy that's outside of everything I just mentioned, if I find a good Golden Age book, grail pieces, got to get them. I don't want to lose a chance on that. But that's how I keep. I keep it at that. And like Sammy says, I don't move on to the next thing until I'm done with this. And then unless there's changes later on, but that's it. If not, at a con, I'm not chasing artists. I'm not chasing actors or any of that stuff because those lines are long. I can't waste 2 to 3 hours and I want to get everything else.
Yeah, the time that I do is if it's okay, it's Saturday, it's the end of the day, and you know what? It's a short line and it's $60. Sure. Yeah. Great. I'll go meet Rose McGowan. No problem. She'll sign my Grindhouse DVD. Sweet. But I'm not going to prioritize something that costs hundreds of dollars when, that means I'm going to miss out on a commission opportunity.
Yeah. Nando, you said, what's your limitations? What are your rules?
Well, now because I have the business, it's I don't really have a PC anymore. I have a couple things that sit here and there for me now.
I might hold this.
Yeah, and it's the sketch covers right now for the wrestling heroes sketch covers. Those are mine. Those are mine, right? That's why I think I'm a little bit more selective on who I ask on those because if I'm asking you to do this cover, it's because I really appreciate your work and I really want somebody to see more of it. And I'll get some covers. I bought a couple original pages from Clay McCormick. Sick, shout out Clay, love that guy.
Yeah. Batman the animated series show podcast, man, those guys rule.
So good. But it's but for me it's the animated series, my grail piece that hangs in my wall is my Phantasm Mondo sample poster that's signed and remarked by Kevin Conroy. So it's that's never going anywhere. Things like that. But I mean, I work for a major toy company, so when we get Batman stuff, I tend to hang on to that. But my dad also was a major engineer at Mattel, so any Batman Hot Wheels stuff that comes out, I tend to hang on to that. Yeah. But outside of that, the Funko Pops, I only have the animated series ones. That's it. And after that, I don't really care for them. I just wanted those. So I mean, mine is very to the thing, because whatever I buy now, inventory wise, it's inventory. I'm buying it so that way I can get it to the public and get it into somebody's hands that really wants it.
Well, Mike, that was a good question. What about you?
Oh man, for me, I'm like you were kindred spirits, Sammy. I only collect DC. I had to make that decision day one once I started buying comics. Because every publisher has their own little gimmick, and so you're falling for two gimmicks, and wallet just gets drained. So DC, and then over the years, I'm only collect Batman. That's the only pull that I have, and then I collect Batman, and for some reason I'm a sucker for Mandalorian. So those two. I get, and then I get whatever DC is, whatever's the major like crisis of the year. I get that just for historical purposes, or if there's a good miniseries that involves like creators that I like, I usually pick that up. Bat centric. So most of the stuff is bat centric.
Bat vision all day.
As it pertains to signatures, free always reigns, so I always go with that. I'm a big believer. If there's a will, there's a way. Don't complain. Just try to situate yourself in the right situation, right? And so I have a rule with signature prices. You have to be at a level for me to respect you, to even want to pay for you. Like if you're like some of these newer guys and you don't have keys, you should not be charging. You should not be charging more than $5. If you don't have a book that's worth $100, that's not a variant. That's not a variant. That's not a
solid
foil.
Rule.
That's not a foil, whatever. Like, no, I'm not paying that much for you because it's like you don't have you're putting your level at the same as Marv Wolfman. You charge more than Marv Wolfman. That's
or
a disgrace.
Frank's got a signing this Saturday, and it's like he's doing $80 for a Sig. I'm like, that's the lowest Frank's been in years.
Right? And so, but Frank, his resume is like he has a library of a career, so he can charge whatever he wants. I'm talking about these new guys that's charging $20, and they don't even have 20 books on their resume yet. I'm talking about those guys. Like, so I just ignore those all the way. I try to pay for the OGs because they deserve it. They're the ones that need the money the most. The young guys have the economy and know how to will and deal and pay for their stuff now, but the older guys, like, they're not getting hired anymore. So I would pay $20 for them. But rule of thumb, I'm not going to pay more than $60 total on you. Period. So per person, 60 bones. And mind you, I got 514 signatures this year on 370 something books. So understand that you got to have these principles. But when there's a will, there's a way. So I'll leave it at that.
Wow.
Yeah, those are solid rules, man. I'm gonna hold on to that. Dude, you're still an early bird. Why you charging so much, rule?
Man,
that's pretty legit.
Like that.
Get your cake up, homie.
even with established artists that, when their prices start to be on the level of like you use Frank as an example, Nando, of like for signature prices or whatever, but like. Dude, there was another one I was trying to get this year, and the price had gone up. It was double or something what it was within the span of 2 months or something like that. And I was like, man, that's like I like you a lot, and you've got a great resume and everything. People love your work, but like, not saying it's not worth it, but you're charging Frank Miller prices, and like that's reserved for a very small group of people. You know what I'm saying? And I literally took that money and I spent it and I got a Frank Miller commission. Like, I was like, fuck, if I'm going to drop that much money and you're not going to work with me, like, I'm just going to get the real thing, cause that, I don't know. Like it just, if you're taking it that far, I just can't get behind it,
No, I think in the back of our heads, we all had that same rule when it's like, because like if an artist asks for like money like that, and you just like look at them, and it's like, do you know who you're comparing yourself with right now?
Yeah.
I think like Frank is an example right now, big because like it's only I say only it's $80, right? I mean, because that's not only that's still a lot of money for a signature. It doesn't matter what it is, because you're putting
a lot of money.
Even his remark for $250, that hasn't gone up in 2 years or something like that. I mean, that's
And I think at this
reasonable.
next signing, he's not doing he's doing limited remarks, but he's not doing any like sketches or anything like that.
10 spots.
Because Torpedo's hosting him in their Glendale location.
Yeah.
But Frank was the first signature coming out of pandemic that I got at TorpedoCon at the Palladium, and it was that $100. You paid $100 for the signature, and it got you got in the line because it was that exclusive. Like you had a very limited number of people that were going to get in. And I remember I was like, man, bump that. I'm going to get this signature. And then I got him witness, and then I got Brian Azzarello witnessed on the same book. And then when I submit that to CGC, it came back at a 9.8, and I was like,
worth it.
Well, you got him on DK3, the DK3 stuff?
Yeah, it was the DK3, but it was number 2, but it was the 1 in 50 variant. Like the all blue one, the all blue cover where it's like the raining down on it. Like,
like looking sideways.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the first book that I hand bought myself, that I went and chased down the signatures, that I submitted to CGC on my own. It was my very first book I ever did that.
Nice.
And I sold it.
Nice.
I sold it. It was I sold that book. No. It was one of the very first books I ever sold under the brand of T&K. And it was, for me, it was like, if I'm willing to let these things go to people who are going to cherish them as much or more than me, then I'm doing the right thing. Because now you got a badass piece from me, and now you're going to come back because I'm going to have more badass pieces for you later. So it was that understanding of, but what it did is it taught me, like, now as a vendor, of like, this is the work and grind you got to put in to go put these books out for people. Like, this is the hustle and grind you got to create, and you got to be willing to be dedicated to. Because if
you
you're
can't
not
be attached to it.
You can't.
Tough.
Like, that's why, like, I tell everybody, no, I have no PC. Anything I have, it's up for auction or it's up for sale. I may tell you this one thing is going to be absurdly out of your price range, and you're not going to buy it because I'm going to keep it. But realistically, like, no, man, like, my job is to bring, like, it's a cheesy slogan. It's a super cheesy slogan. But my job, my job is to bring you joy one book at a time. That's my job. Right. So if I can do that, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And that's probably like that. Again, it's funny how we all have these rules, and like, we do those rules for different reasons, and you need them, especially when you're in a budget. And for you, to let go of a piece that you cherish, that's not easy. I'm at the point now where I have to look at what I got, because I don't want it. I also don't, like, as Sammy mentioned earlier, I don't want to be a hoarder. I'm like,
it gets out quick.
Yeah,
it's looking pretty grim out here for a while, man.
So like now I'm looking at, I made it for, I'm off Friday. Friday, I'm just go through all my stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, how do I do it? Does this piece make me happy? Nah, you know what? Let it bring joy to someone else.
What was her name? Koi? No, was it on Netflix? She had the special.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget her last name. I forget it, but it was the something. I think her last name was Koi or Kwan, but it was like her. Oh no, the Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo, that's what it was.
Right.
And it was she was like, does this bring you joy? And people would be like, it did. And she's like, does it bring you joy now? And you're like, if you have to think about it,
get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that on Friday, because it's like, I get a lot of things submitted from CGC, and then something comes back. I'm like, damn, this is dope. And then it's like, all right, wait a minute. Let me go through my collection.
Show him show him the Harley book that just came in, because I sent that one out that you got for me. I sent it out to get like graded, because I was like, oh, whatever, it's a Jenny Frison nice cover. I'm like, if it's good, great, I'll sell it. Then it came back in, and I'm like, it came in at 9.8, and I'm like,
He's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna sell this.
I don't know if I'm gonna sell that one now, because it's like my daughter's named Harley. Whenever
you guys and your numbers, I was gonna get rid of it, but then a guy put a number on it, and I like it more now.
Oh man,
but it's a pretty book.
Hallelujah, Sammy, hallelujah.
I don't get it. I'm raw all the way. I don't get it, man. I'm ODB over here.
ODB, you and me too. See, kindred spirits over here, man.
Yeah,
kindred spirits.
I hear you on that, and for me,
I mean, you're selling it. That makes sense.
I'm gonna sell it. Probably,
yeah, that makes sense.
I might hike the price up a little bit just so it stays on the shelf a little longer.
No, that's my issue with getting things graded, and it's like I sell books too, but it's like, if this comes back in 9.8, maybe I'll keep it, because I'm like, if the rainy day ever comes, I'm like, you know what, like, all right, cool, I could get rid of all this stuff and I'll be all right. It's the only reason that we chase the numbers. But it's like, it's kind of annoying when you actually want something for your PC and it doesn't come a number. Like, oh fuck, but look how gorgeous it is.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't care. I'll be like, yeah, sign it with my name on it. It's for me,
Yeah.
someone can sell it when I die for half as much. I don't care. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
What is 2024 looking for you guys? Like, what cons you looking forward to? Do you have anything set up yet?
Well, like I said, I got the press pass for Fan Expo. I'm really excited about that in Portland. I've been to Rose City a bunch of times. I've never actually been to Fan Expo Portland, so that'll be my first. And then like 3 weeks later is MegaCon, where I get to meet you and everybody. And so yeah, I'm gonna spend a lot of money on that. And then I'm not sure, but the guys from Ghost Machine, so like Fabok, Johns,
yes, sir,
Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, that whole team announced multiple cons, right? And so I'm hoping the whole gang is going to be there in February. But if they're not, I saw that there's one in like July in Denver, which is a much shorter trip for me. And so I thought, well, that might be my contingency because I really want to meet all of those dudes. For sure.
You just made me excited. I didn't know about that. Now I'm ultra excited. Gary Frank, for sure.
Yeah, I heard a rumor, and I got it sort of a wink nudge. I'm not going to say it, but yes, kind of confirmation about Fabok. And so that's why I bought my ticket for MegaCon. And my wife's like, yo, if we go to another con and the guy you go for isn't there, we got to stop doing this rumor mill shit. I was like, yes, I know. But then they announced on I think it's Ghost Machine, right? That's their new line. Their new series they're doing. Right. So, but they posted on there, like, the team is going to be at these events. And so even though none of those dudes are on the MegaCon site yet, they have at least some confirmation that you'll see somebody there.
Well, I'll tell you this. Because it's a whole big team. So not everyone's going to be there. It's going to be certain squadrons. For example, Francis Monopole is going to be, he's a part of Ghost Machine as well. He's going to be at Planet Comic-Con. So I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 representatives like at each of these shows that they're going to be at. But man, I want to be at the one where Gary Frank and Fabok's going to be at.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, I was already hyped about Fabok, but then when I saw the Ghost Machine thing, I was like, oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to take that as confirmation. It's real. And then like 5 seconds later, I thought, does that mean Gary Frank is coming? Oh, my God. Because like Earth One is one of my favorite books or series, period for Batman. Like, man, that would be amazing.
Yeah, just make sure, like, just see what they post from MegaCon. Sometimes MegaCon doesn't post who the team is bringing. Well, most cons don't do that. It's like tough because like then you like go up to the booth and like, I didn't know so and so was going to be here. Oh, you don't follow us. So that's a great advice. Yeah, guys, always like follow these teams like Scott Collectibles, Comic Man.
Yeah,
because they bring people and they don't get announced on the site. But if you follow them, you can see that beforehand. It saves you so much time.
And Scott's Collectibles has a great Facebook group too. Like the only reason I have a Facebook is for comic groups, and they put all their shit on there ahead of time. They put their opportunities on there ahead of time. Like the Segovia one that I mentioned.
Yeah,
like that's from Singapore Comic-Con. Like I'm not fucking going to Singapore, but
I want to go so bad.
But Dan Scott hooked it up. I was really grateful. So yeah, follow all those guys to get the inside track.
So I'm gonna follow Dave's advice and put it out there. He told me just put it out there, right? So put it out there. So 2024, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So I'm gonna put it out there. Number one, what is it? I need to get Mr. Freeze first appearance. So that's one thing that I'm, so Mr. Freeze first appearance, raw.
I want to buy it raw.
Yeah, I was saying I need it raw. So that's one thing.
Baby, wait, sorry.
Yeah, definitely. And then as far as shows are concerned, I got to do New York. I got to do Baltimore. These are like bucket list shows that I have to do next year. I bought New York and I bought Baltimore, and I wasted money this year. So I want to go to those two. Planet Comic-Con is actually number 1. That list is crazy right now. That is insane. So I want to do that. If you guys are doing MegaCon, I'm going to do MegaCon. I want to be there with you guys too.
No, come to MegaCon, awesome. Dude.
Yes, I never been to Florida a day in my life, so this would be great. So I want to do
and
that.
It's February. You want a little bit of warmth because I get cold out there.
and the echo Sammy sentiments. I'm trying to get all my favorite Gary Franks done. Like I got like 77 Jeff John 6 this year, by the way, too. So for free. So so it was Kelly Jones and Jeff Johns. I got a bunch of 6 from, but I want to get those Doomsday Clock signed. But my favorite Gary Frank is the Brainiac story and the Legion of Superheroes story that he did with Jeff Johns, the Superman stuff. So I want to get those signed. Jeff Johns was just at Earth 2 in Sherman Oaks like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so I got like 12 books signed from there. Nice. And so so that's it. So Gary Frank, Fabok 2. So art pieces, I always tend to get 3 pieces a year. And so I'm definitely going to get something from Doug Mankey this year. Nice. And then Fabok, if I could just get any of those $600 joints that he be having, if I can get there early enough to get something, a Joker, a Batman, I don't care. Something on his DC end.
That's Swamp Thing too.
Yeah, Swamp Thing. Anything like that, I'm cool.
Yeah, the Swamp Thing was good too.
That's actually our season finale is we're doing his winter special Swamp Thing with Tom King. That's our review. Yeah, it's so much fun.
That's a solid 2024, bro, and it's doable.
But yeah, man, put it out there. Put it out there.
So I want to jump on that. Your art list, right? If you have a top 3 for your sketches you want to get. So Fabok is my number 1 for sure. Again, I'm flying all the way out to meet him, hopefully. And as far as people that I know that are going to be at the cons I'm attending, Mike Mayhew, I don't even know if he'll be sketching, but I fucking love that dude. He's one of those, photorealism type artists. And what the hell is that?
I got that. I stole it from Torpedo Con because he was charging. I think he was charging what, $40 for it, $30 for a signature.
Oh wait, because you did get another book signed for me, and you were like, "Yo, which signature do you want? Do you want his? Do you want just his last name or his first and last name?" I was like, "I don't give a fuck. Give me the cheapest one, But yeah, he signed half his name for less money.
$30. So I kept it. I'm like, oh, this is a free signature.
Okay, so Mike Mayhew is my number 2, and then if Gary Frank shows up, that would be amazing. But for sure, of who I know, Ryan Otley, because the one series that I read that's like not DC or Sin City or something is Invincible. I love Invincible, and I recently was going through some of his pieces, and I was like, oh shit, he did some of the artwork for one of my favorite rap groups, Czarface. It's Inspected Deck.
He did Czarface?
Yeah, he did Czarface. And so I was like, oh my God, if I get an Otley piece, it's gotta be a Czarface. I would fucking love it. It was also like I've even just putting it out there, like I wrote a song for my next record that is intended for a Czarface feature. So I'm hoping we could I came up with this whole Marvel DC like rivalry fucking joint that's awesome. And
nice.
So yeah, like if I could get an Otley Czarface sketch and I could do the song with those dudes, then it'd be like fucking full circle, man. Life
That'd
complete.
Yeah, that could be done.
Yeah.
What about you, Nando? What are your goals for 2024?
Well, right now on the books, there's potentially 18 shows.
Woo-hoo.
So
busy, man.
And yeah, so there's potentially.
And you got a regular gig too, so you do these shows plus a job.
I do, but we don't know how long that's gonna last. So we'll see. My wife is an amazing woman, an amazing partner, an amazing mom. She looked at me and was like, "If you're gonna do this, you need to do this, and that's it." She goes, "If 23, well, there's those reels on Instagram, and it has like those little recordings that you can save, and it says 23 was the warm up, 24 is the first act of the performance." And she's like, "That's you." She goes, 23 was your warm up. 23 was you putting your feet into the water and saying, how cold is it really? And you realizing that, well,
you can do it.
You can do this.
Yeah.
And you can be successful at this. She goes, "So what are you going to do?" She goes, I'm behind you. She was like, and I'm not trying to say anything, but she's like, your resume will speak higher than anything. If something falls apart and it doesn't work, oh well, you tried it. We tried to make it work. It doesn't work. You go back into the workforce. Okay, no big deal. She goes, but you need to be 100% committed to this, because if not, it's not ever going to completely take off the way you want it.
Yeah, full commitment always.
It's amazing to have that in your corner too. Like that for me was 2011 when my wife was really pushing me, like, look, you need to quit your job and just focus on touring, and I did that, and I hit it really, really hard, and I could not have done that without her. So that's amazing that you have that as well.
Yeah, I'm extremely blessed and lucky for it. But like for shows, I'm looking at, there's potentially like 17, 18 shows between attending and vending. But outside of that, it's like the one book I sold a long time ago was I had a Batman Adventures 12 that I sold. And ever since my daughter, she's 4 now, and I'm like, I need that first appearance of Harley back. I need that one, and I don't care if it's raw, graded, or whatever, but I need a good copy to have to hang on to forever. I need a good copy.
There's like 3 or 4 copies of it at Rose City, all like across from each other. I'm like, God damn, I can't believe. And like, this guy's charging twice as much as that guy, and
yeah. If I can get my hands on it, it is. I just want to. If I can get my hands on a good copy, that's one that's going to become a PC one that's not going to go anywhere ever again, because that's the one that I'm going to keep for her and be like, look, here's the way your mom agreed to name you Harleen. Dad threw it out there as a wild shot, and mom was like, all right.
So your daughter's name is Harleen.
Harleen, yeah, Harleen.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the true name. Okay.
Yeah. The only difference is my
Francis?
wife spelled it. No. Well, what's funny is my instead of the double E-N, my wife went Harlene, and so we went there. But it's Harley Quinn, but my daughter's Harley Kai. So because my wife's a surfer, so she's like, we put Kaya which is a term for of the ocean. So she threw that in there. So I was like, oh, Harley Kai, nice. Harley Quinn. I said we kind of got that a little bit, but I think that's the only book that I would want. Plus any like Golden Age Batman stuff. I think that's where I would want to hold on to stuff for me. But outside of that, it's just I want it all. I want all the books I can get my hands on,
and make that
more and more. Eventually, that brick and mortar has to open up. So eventually,
yeah.
No, you definitely do it, especially you and I had the conversation. I even told your wife that's amazing how much of a support system she is. Yeah. That's I think that was like the beginning of 2023, and I was like, you're freaking amazing, and you're definitely it's gonna be a huge year, man. You go all in on the things you do. I don't know if I'm chasing anyone next year. I'm like, I want to outdo San Diego. If that's possible.
Wow, that's gonna be hard, man.
Anything is possible.
You know what?
My acid reflux kicked in just you thinking that right now. Oh,
yeah.
Because
you got to go to Lake Como now. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, there you go.
That's one I actually. So I have a wall. Yesterday I put all the sticky notes on in order of all the cons that I may go to, but the ones I'm really aware of. And Lake Como is the 4th one up there. It's in May.
Yeah.
And Alex Ross is going to be in the building.
Yeah, he's not. That's what I hear. He's not.
He's not.
Like first gelato from Como.
Yeah, I thought so too. If you get the
VIP pass,
the VIP, it comes
pre-done.
It comes with a pre-done sketch. It was either him or
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I commented on there like, oh my God, Alex Ross is going to be there. Because again, I'm thinking like, holy shit, I've never even left the country. I'm like, should I do it? And his agent replied to me, not the con, but he was like, no, these are selected pieces that I'm facilitating. Alex will not be in attendance.
That sucks. I heard different before all this. I heard news before it was announced. But regardless whether he's there or not, the artist lineup that you get in Lake Como, it's people who you're not going to see in the States. So it's like that's definitely like if I could, I'm going to say that would be my biggest one. If I could do that, then I'll go to San Diego and be like, bitch, please. But
San Diego slaps you across the face and says, oh, really?
Yeah.
Here you go.
And the two giants just go at it. I'm really excited for MegaCon. MegaCon is a con that is the first, like my first big con that I went to outside of like New York. And I feel like last year I had fun, but this year there's more people that are joining in one spot, and I get really excited when it's like, oh crap, a bunch of people I'm friends with, we're all gonna hang out, and it's like this con's like a huge party, and not we don't go out drinking all the time, but like then it's like, oh, let's go to this arcade or let's go bowling, let's just hang out, and it's like, oh, so and so is coming over, and it's like, holy crap, Instagram's hanging out. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for MegaCon. Sammy, you and I will finally meet. And I guess like signature wise, because I've been to so many cons, I'm gonna narrow down how many artists I'm getting signatures from. Because
I feel the same. Yeah.
Because for me, it's cons. I get the signatures that I need, and it gets kind of annoying trying to get multiple people. But if I can knock everything out the first day and like just relax and like chill with vendors and like just like truly BS, although I still work, it's like I have more fun doing that. And then just like even when I'm working, because as a witness, we have to be there when books get signed. But it's like, wait, who are you gonna go meet? All right, let's go. Like that's what I tend to look forward to. But definitely MegaCon. If I go to Lake Como, the gods are with me. After that, I can't miss San Diego, and New York's home.
Last year you asked me if I was going to go to New York, and I was like, I'm going to try, and here we are. That didn't happen, so I didn't even bring it up this time.
No, that's all good. Listen, MegaCon it is, man. We're gonna have a good time. But before we head out, it's getting a little late, especially on my end. What advice do you guys have for anyone who wants to hit up cons next year?
Oh wait, I thought you wanted us to see some pieces.
Oh, we got yo. So what are your top pickups? What are your top pickups this year?
Top pickups. What do I have here? Okay, so my number one pick that I wanted, I put out Mr. Freeze first appearance, right? So last year I wanted Batman Beyond first appearance, and I got it signed by Bruce Timm.
Oh snap!
Same year, so I got that. So this was one of my number one pickups. So if I have to pick three, this will be one of them, and then this here was another one because it's so rare. This one here. So I got these were my two, and then as far as here it is here. Yep, I think those are it. Oh yeah, and then obviously the final pickup would probably be this because
the Burbank book.
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna add that to my goal to get that and the first Mr. Freeze. That's it.
There we go. There we go, Mr. Freeze. All right, let's look out for each other then.
No, I got you, man. I'm gonna find two. Watch.
I already put that on the list to look out for you guys.
Thank you.
Nice.
What was Sammy? What was your top three or pieces you want to share?
Yeah, so a couple things. You already know this because you made it happen. Enrico Marini is
such a chill dude.
One of my favorite artists, period. He's been really cool. Like, we don't interview folks on the Bat Fanatic podcast, which, by the way, going into season 4, we haven't really announced this properly, but get ready to see me and Dunk doing some comic book reviews. We have already got Grandpa Batman, but yeah, you're going to see Dunk on the show now that my co-hosts are moving on. And
2024 is going to be busy.
Anyway, Marini's been really cool. Like when we covered his book, Dark Prince Charming, it's one of my favorites. And the first original art I ever got was from him in 2020. When everything was locked down, he opened up a mail-in commission list. And so when I heard he was going to be at New York and he was dropping his prices so much, I had to get this. So I'm like, this is just, maybe my favorite sketch cover, period. Also, this was a little hookup that you did for me, Sean Murphy, which is, should I tell? I mean,
yes, you have to share the story.
So the background is funny. I met Sean Murphy 2021, and he did a couple different remarks, sketches for me, and I asked him for Asbats because he had just done Curse of the White Knight, and he drew one line and went, "Oh shit, can it just be regular Azrael? I fucked it up." And I was like, "Yeah, man, that's fine." And so then, fast forward. Dave is like, "Yo, I'm going to be seeing Sean again next week. Do you need anything?" I was like, I'd still love to get an Asbats from him. And so literally this book was mailed to me, the bag and board. On the back of it, the tape says Asbat on it. And he did the regular Azrael again. And so I have 2 regular Azraels when they were both supposed to be Asbats. And so I can't wait to meet Sean again so I could be like, all right, for real now.
No, now you just got to say, I want Azrael, and then he'll give you Asbat.
Yeah, there you go. But okay, before I get to my number one, we talked about Jim Lee a lot. This was the ink and color commission over my pencils. I think we talked about this before the show started, but
yeah.
So yeah, I got the pencils done 2021 Emerald City Comic Con, and then I did a mail-in through Rocket Comics for Scott and Alex, and I got this earlier this year.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I keep it right here.
You guys in your Jim Lee piece.
And
yes, sir.
And my number one though is very similar to Mike's here, and it is my first original Bruce Timm piece right there. So this is probably my favorite piece that I own. You know, I'm a huge Harley collector, a huge Harley fan, and I had to have one from the OG. So yeah, that was my number one find of the year.
That's solid.
That's awesome. So
Nando,
sick.
Nando, what about you? It was all business, man. I'm a business.
Yeah, it was. You know what? I will say this. Being a fan is one thing, but when you're running it from a different perspective and you're running the show floor and hustling in a different way, it's different. And it I don't know, like I'm trying to think, like, I mean, getting my slab back that had the Wolfman and the Perez on it, that was nice. That was a good book to get back this year. Getting a couple Dustin pieces that I got this year, getting a couple I think my wrestling covers really were there's some good artists on there, and like none of them, I mean, not a lot of them are like super big names.
Yeah.
But they're really talented, amazing people. I mean, like Sammy, like, you know, Manuel Martinez, like he did.
Yeah, he did my Clayface.
Yeah, he did 2 of them for me. He did my Ghost Rider and Kane and my Andre versus Swamp Thing. And you know, John Hagman, who's works with him at 10 Ton Press, he did my Alfred and Paul Bearer and my Two-Face one. So it's like, and he even did my Booster Gold versus Gold Dust one. So nice. Like, I getting those, I think, meant more to me this year than like anything else, because like those have value to me, like they personal value. Yeah. Instead of just buying good books and, you know, selling them. Because I mean, getting Todd signatures is one thing, and you can, you know, you turn around and sell Todd signatures, or getting Jim Lee signatures, or getting Jenny Sigs. But to me, like these covers that I have, like they're special to me. So I think they bring me more value and more joy than anything.
I think that's more where I'm at now too, is of like getting the real meaningful ones, you know, that you care about, and not just like, okay, well, there's 20 artists at the show, let's get as much shit as we can. Like, it's not about that as it is like getting the thing that's really gonna, like, you know, like you see it on the wall and you're like, man, I can't believe, you know, that's amazing.
Yeah, I gotta show you guys one piece of art. I gotta show you guys one piece of art now.
Yeah, I
saw you digging up some gems back there.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, I think this is my best pieces. Not my best pieces, but like the ones that I hanged on to. But let's look at Mike. What do you get to show us right here real quick?
This is the one piece I got. The Doug Mankey Joker.
Oh yeah.
Oh, snap.
So good.
So like this is one
That's
of the
really
pieces. Good. I was able to get a deal for my one and only Neil Adams. I got a Neil Adams piece this year too. But that was, you know, sketch cover.
Where did you get that from, Doug?
This was a gift. So I got this as a gift in May. You know how, you know, you do favors for friends, and so Amazing Vegas, I did some favors for friends, and he gave me this, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So a free Doug Mankey, man.
I think the first sketch that was ever given to me was a Warren Lau Harley Quinn, and I was like, oh my god, like this is amazing. And ever since, I've never come across an opportunity. If I had wanted to get one from him, like at a con or something, like I haven't come across one chance to get it, and so I'm extra grateful that. And he was just a listener of the podcast, like, hey, I bet you'd like this. I'm like, hell yeah,
that's awesome.
All right, all right.
Oh, are you gonna whip some stuff out, Nando?
Yeah, I was like, because I was talking about them, and I'm like, they're right here. So let me just grab a couple of them. If you want to go first, Dave, you can go first, and then while I get the other two out.
I'm quick. I finally met Jim Ballant this year.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of Catwoman 1 signed, and he did like a little miniature remark. Hold on, I don't even. Here we go. So I was happy with that. I really wanted a sketch from him, but that line was insane.
I heard that he does free sketches, but it's just however long it takes.
Yeah, so his lines, there's a way for that. And next time I spoke to him after the fact, and that was great. One of my favorite artists, a good friend of ours, right, Sammy, Laura Braga. I just got this Catwoman back.
That's hard.
It's so good.
Yeah, she was like, she made it her own. She's like, it's a little different than I normally draw, and I was like, I don't care. I mean, look at this. She also did a Poison Ivy earlier in the year. That was stunning.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But I did get a Poison Ivy from someone, Tahani Farr. She did this.
Oh yeah.
Oh dang, that's a sketch.
Yo.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, she took it back and then she like emailed me. She's like, "Oh, it's ready. Where do I ship it?" And I was just like, "Yo, you posted this in your story." Like, yo, like, hey, it's just amazing. And it came with a nice little note because like she's very passionate about her art. Like I was just told about her in San Diego, and I was like, all right, New York, I'm getting something. And then because she has to be number 1 in everything, I got this from an artist in New York. I think Sammy, you got a piece too, right? From Steven?
I did. I saw that and I hit you up like, yo, that likeness is amazing. I want to get one for my wife. And so he really hooked it up. Like I paid him for a head sketch like that. And I sent him some reference photos we talked about, like the Eras tour, like the part my wife was really into. And like, oh, this is her favorite. And he was down. And then it was getting real close to her birthday. And he was like, I'm sorry, I got deadlines. He fucking sent me next day air a full figure sketch for the same price. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this guy is amazing.
Yeah, he's a great dude, and he's got there's a future there if he continues.
How do you pronounce his last name? DiFendini?
That's what I was looking at. I'm like, I think it's DiFendini.
Man, such a nice guy, and that was my first interaction with him. But yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He's going to be on the podcast in February.
Nice.
He has he was doing a lot of drawing for his wedding and stuff, and then he's booked till February. And I was like, all right, I'll get you on then. And it's like, cool. Nando, you all set up there?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. So the first one that I'm going to show you, these 4 are from the same guy. This is John Hagman, who is at 10 Ton Press as well. So we're going to go. I'm going to show these off. This was the Two-Face and Mick Foley as Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love.
Oh snap! That's cool.
So we had that one. Then he did the Erica Slaughter versus Sergeant Slaughter, and then he got the Sergeant Slaughter signature on there too.
That's hard.
Oh, he got the little remark on there too. That's cool.
Yeah, got the little Yo Joe. And then he did a little Step Brothers.
Oh, that's my favorite right there. Yeah,
that's
hard.
Sick.
I like that style.
my favorite one that he did was
the
Alfred and Paul Bearer.
That's
hard.
Cool.
As Alfred looks at me.
And then my buddy Manuel, who Sammy knows, and he did these 2 for me. So it was Andre and Swamp Thing.
Sick, yo.
I gotta get a Swamp Thing from him.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one that he did, and this one is in my opinion, forgive me guys if you ever hear this. This is the only one that rivals the Clay McCormick Batman and Undertaker one. But he did Kane and Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Damn.
Yeah,
that's rad.
So
I like how he does creatures and monsters and stuff. That's why I had him do Clayface, because like sometimes people have like they're humans or they're really good at female characters or whatever, but like I like his real gnarly shit,
Yeah,
and he's hyper detailed with it too.
His dark shit's really good. So Manuel, shout out to him. Shout out to both of my guys over there. I have some other ones that I can't get off the wall right now, but there's some other ones that are up there still. But this is I think the stuff that's really special to me right now. We have some other ones that are in there. Cap and Kurt Angle in the work right now, and
Nice.
then Vince McMahon and versus Lex Luthor is another one that's in there.
Nice.
And then I think what was the other one that we were really excited about? We've been in conversations with a famous colorist that works with Jim Lee a lot about a Mil Máscaras versus Bane. So
Nice.
that's one that we're excited about right now. So, and I would say I don't know. I always like now that it's like T&K Comics, it's like it's in the plural.
Once you're LLC, it's always we.
Yeah.
I was doing that with the podcast. I kept saying we and us when I'm talking about like the next season where like these guys aren't gonna be here anymore. I'm like, I guess on behalf of me and I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Me and my collection.
Yeah.
I do catch that in people's speech sometimes, and I'm like, who the fuck is we right now? And I'm like, is it like your physical self and like your mental thoughts? Like, 'cause I'm like, all right, because we all we at this point. Nah, those are solid year, guys. Like,
I want to just take my whole wall down and be like, hey, look at this one, and look at this one. Like, I got like 20 pieces this year, man. I'm like, it was so hard to choose just a few.
Yeah, it's like it's the thing that happens right after a certain time with cons, you start realizing how to get better pieces or like figure out how to get more. I know, Sammy, you do a lot of mail-ins, which is awesome because I'm like, that's a great way of like not spending all the extra money and getting stuff done.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna let the fact that I can't attend stop me from getting this opportunity. That's how I look at it. Like you got those signatures for me at San Diego. Well, at the same time, I had comic sketch art getting like Stepan Sejic from Harleen. I had multiple things going on like that where it's like I can't make it to this thing, but this is this guy's only United States appearance.
Yeah.
In 6 years, I'm going to take advantage of it.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just not going to miss out.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing. Now we're going to 2024, and we kind of have like a map of what we're planning already.
Yeah.
When we do the recap next year, I'm kind of scared. I'm scared about my bank account and the stories that I could share on my Instagram page.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
I'll be there to back them up. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's the stories that people don't. Well, if you're there, you know some of the stories. But
I'm gonna meet you in person, and I'm gonna be like, sweep me off my feet like one of your cosplay girls.
Well, I'm gonna do that next year more often, and I'm gonna do like every con just like some montage of me picking people up because it's funny.
You'll be holding Jim Lee in the next one.
Yeah, if that picture happens,
might have Jim and John in his arms in the next one. You might
just guys, just follow us and watch the stories because it's going to be a fun 2024. But that being said, closing statements like for 2024, advice for anyone, like straight, really solid advice, not like pertaining to what you do or just overall. Mine's going to be this: save up and travel to a con. Trust me, it's not like as tired and stuff you're going to be. The moment you experience another location, and you get to people that you normally can't see, like locally, it changes everything for you. And it's a mini vacation. You're having a good time. You're in your hobby. You're in your element. You meet cool people because everyone's there for the same thing. Travel for a con. Do one a year. Do one every 2 years. But make sure you do one, in some time. You'll thoroughly enjoy them.
That was the most New York I've ever heard you sound. Do one.
Yeah, do one. Better, It was the D.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say this, like this has been kind of like a common theme throughout the night, and I just want to kind of echo it and just cement it. And that is quality over quantity. That rule, it gives you balance. And so if, I always say this, I go ham, and I do. But those times I go ham are those like few moments in the year where you have those opportunities to go ham. But you can't go ham on every single person you meet, every con, every show, every table. So you have to really have a plan. And so we talked about plans, strategies, boundaries, stuff like that. So if you do all of those things, it'll boil down to quality over quantity. So that's what I'll tell everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think that for me, it's important not only to plan and to try to be smarter about it. Like I mentioned, I'm selling off some of the, I guess, less essential items of my collection on my eBay store. For this Frank Miller piece, I decided to sell a guitar that it's been collecting dust. It's been my backup for years and years and years. Just don't use it. And, I'm allowing the things that I have equity in, around me here that aren't getting used to help pay for the collection because,
hobby.
I think if you looked at my Instagram, you would have a grossly inaccurate picture of how much I actually make. And I've been very irresponsible with it. And I have, literally put myself in like precarious situations financially just to because I can't let the opportunity slip by and all this shit. And that's just how I'm wired. And so I've tried to actively be more responsible. So it's like, when that opportunity comes up, it's like, I just sold $300 worth of shit on eBay last week. When that deposit comes through, that money's going over here. Cool. I can do it. And it's already paid for. But,
Nice.
I'm not going to spend my rent and then hope my next check is going to make the rent on time. That's the cycle I've been living in. And so I'm trying to be more, long-sighted about it and plan for it and try to get, again, some of the things that I already have that I'm not using to do the work for me.
Nice. Nando, what you got?
I think I'm going to echo my wife. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't wait for something to line up perfectly because it won't. Just do it. And if you have a problem, good. That means you're going to arise to a solution. You'll find a little bit, but I think it's it's good. I think that's the thing is do it. But I also from the biggest thing about it that I've learned in being being deeper in the community this year than I ever have been for anything. Just collect what you love. Don't worry about what's cool. Don't worry about what's hot right now. Don't worry about what's the new shiny toy right now. Don't worry about that. If you love it, then get that. Then go after that. You want a graded book? Get the graded book. You want a raw book? Get the raw book. You want a signed book? Get the signed book. You want the action figure? Get the action figure. But get what fits you. Have the plan, like we were saying earlier, and just do it. Because you're not promised tomorrow. That's another thing that this year has really showed me. You're not promised tomorrow. So enjoy what you have now and make the best out of what you got. And these relationships and friendships are amazing, I can only imagine when I get to see Mike in person what it's going to be like now, because after this, we're going to have all these stories to back up after being the shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we finally met on a podcast.
Yeah. Dude, we were at half the cons. half our cons.
Right? Yeah. We probably bumped each other.
You probably did.
My bad, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably digging through your dollar bins and you had no idea.
Yeah, man.
He probably going this guy has crap. No.
Nah, guys, really solid advice. Thank you guys for coming on the show. And I'm just going to close out on this. One more piece of advice. You build yourself a community. And that could go through a chat group on Facebook. That could happen with people you follow on Instagram. That could be with a couple of friends you meet up at a con randomly because you find something in common while you're standing in line. You're looking at 4 gentlemen here. We just told you how we just pretty much met and we became, here we are on this podcast because of social media. And we're probably going to see each other at cons. We're probably going to help each other out with little things. Build a community. That being said, I love this community. Guys, thanks for coming on. And everyone else on the podcast, everyone's listening, have a good one. Enjoy. And I hope our advice, helped you out. Peace.
Peace.